Well, welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. And Dr. Lopkin, I guess Bernie had some heart issues today, I believe, correct?
He had them Tuesday night. He felt discomfort. Okay. At the time that we're recording this, he has come out of surgery. He has had 2 stents put in because he had an arterial blockage.
Well, now, so much for socialized medicine, huh?
Yeah, right. You'll notice he's not relying on socialized medicine to treat this. But it really does bring up the concern. Is he capable of running through a whole campaign, never mind actually serving as president?
I think it brings up huge questions. And I think the beneficiary is who, Dr. Lopkin?
I would say the beneficiary is Elizabeth Warren. I mean, her and Bernie's platforms are the closest in alignment. I think his supporters, if they start going, oh, well, you know, he's not going to make it through the election, he's not healthy enough, they're going to start taking a good hard look at her, which if she combines her own following with Bernie's, gives her a major lead. Which
she would win. She's already, I think. Yeah,
well,
Biden is all. Biden. I
mean, we've said that she's probably going to win the nomination anyway, but this actually changes the math of the primary, because now, assuming Bernie suddenly becomes a non-entity in the primary, all of the candidates that are left have to train their guns on Warren. They don't have another choice. Right now, Warren, Sanders, and Biden are all within about 2 or 3 points of each other. So they sort of have to, pick and choose their targets. If Warren manages to take Sanders' following, that's it. She's the front runner, which means they all have to target her. And there's a lot of skeletons in her closet. There's a lot that's not going to go down well with a general electorate.
So just give a couple if you don't mind.
Well, first of all, there's the whole Native American thing. Remember, she took the genetic test, which showed that she didn't even have enough Native American DNA. She had less Native American DNA than a native-born European has. But she used her designation as Native American to get into college, to get scholarships for college. This is fraud. Now, it's too late for her to be prosecuted about any of it. It's long since past any kind of statute of limitations. But if they start hitting her with all of these little things, she's a fraud. 2, she's not a true progressive. Remember, she used to actually be a Republican.
Yes. If she's a very big enough, she's been an opportunistic person all her life, starting with the Native American thing. I think with a healthy Trump, she would be finished, but I think Trump's going to be very wounded.
Trump is definitely going to be wounded. And that's really the point of the impeachment process, is to wound him.
And he's feeding into it because he just tweeted some literally not just BS, I mean the word BS. You just don't do that as president.
Yeah, he needs to stop. He's just feeding the beast. If he would stop tweeting and just let the process go through. I mean, take a look at all of the investigations that have gone on so far. They look at a document, they make a big deal, they play it up to the media, and then they have the hearing. And it all falls apart in the hearing because they really don't have a case. If he lets that happen again.
But he can't help himself. First of all, he's become unhinged. And I actually can't blame him. He is a human being. He is. And if you were under the, even Dr. Eric Lopkin, under that kind of an assault, you'd be freaking out too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I completely understand why he's so aggravated, why he's so upset.
The whole thing was BS. I mean, there was nothing behind any of this nonsense. And no one's really protecting him. The GOP's not. McConnell's not. No one's really coming to his defense. And I think, and here's a little historical fact from Mr. Sherman. Do you know that Nixon was not probably going to be removed until the economy started tanking? That's a fact. Or there was not a big likelihood. But as the economy shows signs of increasing weakness, and obviously when you have impeachment and everything else, Trump will become more vulnerable. What do you think?
He's definitely becoming more vulnerable. But I mean, part of that is because of what Congress is doing. I mean, we've seen the market start to turn down because, quite frankly, manufacturers were counting on passage of USMCA already. And the Democrats have held that up. And now it's unlikely they're going to get to it because they're focused on impeachment. So they're actually tanking the economy in order to get Trump out of office. Now, I mean, this phrase should scare the hell out of everybody because
if you had a real if you had a real press, people might know that. Let's look at our press just for a second. You have Fox, which is, Sean Hannity, like a meathead. The rest of the news, it's just all fluff. There's no hard-hitting news. It's just all partisan fluff, and so is the other CNN. So no one's getting the news. CNN's never going to report what the Democrats are actually doing. So it goes unnoticed, essentially.
And that's the problem. I mean, you have one party that is putting their desire to have the presidency above the good of the country. You have another party that's basically doing nothing, the Republicans. You've got the president who, no matter what his intentions are, his focus is on avoiding impeachment now. So, I said when we were on the air on Friday that no matter who wins this, the American people lose. And I stand by, I show you the evidence that this is happening. And I came across a video of Gerald Nadler.
Oh, God.
And he stated, now this is actually from the Clinton impeachment. And he was complaining. He said, this is a coup. He used that word the same way we have. That this is a coup to try to remove a duly elected president. Well, guess what, Jerry? That's what you're doing now.
And you know something? Him and Schiff, it's unknown people, ineffective people. Now they have the limelight, and they're ideologues, but they love this. I mean, Adam Schiff, he would never have been. Who is it?
No, Adam Schiff didn't get this much coverage in his life. He's enjoying this.
Yeah, he's addicted to it. So is Nadler.
And Trump needs to stop calling them out. Trump made a comment earlier today that Schiff should be investigated for treason. He needs to stop that.
But there's no one in the White House, and this is a fact, And it's really unfortunate because Trump, a lot of it's not his fault, had such promise.
Trump was targeted before he ever took office.
Oh, no. I'm saying a lot of it's not his fault, but he doesn't have any good people in that White House. No one can tell him, hey, chill, and he's gone rogue. I think he's come unhinged, and I'm a supporter. He's become unhinged. He has.
He has.
Or becoming unhinged.
He's succumbing to the pressure, and he's not handling it well. And there are so many strategies that he could be using. I mean, heck, he should be taking a page out of Clinton's playbook the way Clinton handled the impeachment. But he's not even doing that.
And what is that playbook? I think that's important to say.
Well, I mean, Clinton fought this basically, one, by pushing forward policy. because he knew he was going, even if he'd been impeached, he would survive the Senate, which Trump is really in that same position. But what's going to swing it in the Senate, and certainly in 2020, is the support of the voters. Mm-hmm. Well, the more unhinged he acts, the less presidential he acts, the more he's going to lose that support.
I think that is true. I think, yes, I think he's a man alone on an island, and I think it's getting to him, and he's finally become unhinged. We will see how it plays out, but I do agree with you that Elizabeth Warren is the big beneficiary of this, and I'll go out on a limb, and it's not such a big limb anymore. You might be shocked, Dr. Lopkin, if the economy tanks, which I'm sorry, I agreed with you 2 months ago that it wasn't. Now I'm not so convinced. If the economy tanks, the impeachment thing continues with him becoming increasingly unhinged, she's got a good chance of winning. What do you think?
If the economy tanks, yes, Warren has a shot at winning.
I think it's a good shot.
The problem is we're actually talking ourselves into a recession.
Oh, it's all, well, a recession is always between your ears. 90% of it is yes. But
the consumer is responsible for 70% of the economy. And so far, every economic indicator for the consumer economy is that it is still ridiculously strong.
That's going to fade. I mean, it's good, nice wishful thinking. It's going to fade, Dr. Well, and I don't want it to happen.
It's not wishful thinking. That's what the indicators say right now.
I know.
I'm not saying that it can't change. But as of right now, the economy is still strong.
I got it. As a snapshot, I agree with you, but snapshots are next month. You see what happens to consumer sentiment. They'll be way down.
I don't think it'll be way down. It'll be down, but not way down.
It'll be down in the following month even more as this continues. It's got to. People are rattled. I mean, it's 1973 all over again. People are rattled. So on that note, that concludes another edition of Carnivore Bites. Dr. Lopkin, great show.
See you next week. You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch us every week at exvadio.com/podcasts, on the iHeartRadio app, the Apple Podcasts app, the iTunes Store, Spotify, and wherever you find podcasts. You can also catch us live every Friday at 4 on WESU FM 88.1.